Good evening, fellow West Virginians. I'm joined here this evening with Adjutant General Seward and with Homeland Security Secretary Rob Cunningham, and I wanted to come before you to brief you of the latest developments of the flood and the state's response to it. Over the last 2 days, the state and a lot of the localities around the state have been working around the clock to help our citizens to make sure that we're doing everything imaginable to help West Virginians who are in need. On February 5th, we had issued a state of preparedness for the entire state. That actually was the precursor setting up the state for success, because now the state has the ability to help every county that's in need. Traditionally, when you have a state of preparedness, you can actually do everything you can do that you have, everything you can do that operates within a state of emergency. Yesterday, we went further. We did issue that state of emergency for 10 counties and then added 3 more. Those counties are Boone, Cabell, Greenbrier, Kanawha, Lincoln, Logan, Mercer, McDowell, Mingo, Raleigh, Summers, Wayne, and Wyoming counties. Over the last few days, we've spoken to a number of officials, including Homeland Security Secretary at the federal level, Kristi Noem. The federal government has pledged to offer any assistance that we need to make sure that West Virginia citizens are protected. I thank Secretary Noem for her promise and for her willingness to help, and I look forward to working with her in the weeks and months ahead. Now, a couple facts for folks on the ground. Currently, we have over 54,000 West Virginians who are without power. Just over the last few hours, about 10,000 citizens' power has been restored, so that's good news. Over 30 high water rescues have been performed already and successfully achieved. A lot of that's spearheaded by the local police and fire, and obviously some worked in coordination with our National Guard. The Tug Fork River and the Bluestone Rivers, they've experienced major flooding levels, which means damage of structures and roads and significant evacuations of people to higher elevations. Many streams and rivers have not crested yet, so we do expect that there may be additional instances of flooding. At this time, we do not have any confirmed fatalities, but we do have some reports of missing people. When we learn more about that, we're going to let you know. Now, in the last couple days, we've tried to coordinate with the state resources, which include Homeland Security and with the National Guard, but we've also been working closely with local officials. One of the most important things to know in a situation like this is to work and use your local emergency management system as the point of first contact. Typically, they will take information and then they will ask the state for help as needed. It makes it much easier to coordinate when people are focusing on giving that information locally, and that way they'll transmit it to us and we can work together as a team. It's really important to let everyone know that the local first responders, our sheriffs, the emergency management people, they're on the front lines and they're doing incredible work right now helping West Virginians in need. I'm just deeply grateful for the spirit of all these people who are working hard to protect our citizens. We're also pleased that we've been able to be helpful in this process, deploying the National Guard as needed. We've already deployed all-hazard swift water rescue teams down to McDowell County. Ultimately, there were 5 vehicles, there were 2 boats, there's a trailer. We also set up a joint operations center involving many different state agencies within West Virginia to make sure that everything's coordinated, from the governor's office to Homeland Security to the National Guard, Department of Transportation, Health, Corrections, and other agencies. I think that's critical. So we want to make sure that we're on top of all of these issues. And in fact, we are. I can tell you that a lot of the people here in this room were up a good part through the night last evening, helping citizens in need and responding to immediate requests for help. We're also delivering water and food as appropriate. And I can report to people there have been over 20,000 bottles of water already delivered to McDowell County. An additional 40,000 bottles of water are on hand ready to deploy. We're also coordinating with the Red Cross and other local agencies on the ground. With respect to the Department of Education and school issues, we know that there are 34 school districts that are closed tomorrow, and this includes entities in Logan, in Mingo, in Summers, and Wyoming. We expect that there may be some additional closures, and in fact, on Tuesday, some schools may be closed, given the fact that some of the flooding may continue. As we get information, we're going to report it to you. Furthermore, the Department of Health is assisting people as needed. To the extent that there are people with needed medications, we want to have people on the ground able and willing to assist. I want to add one important note before I turn it over to General Seward. West Virginia has a survey for residents to let us know what's going on the ground. This way you can report damage and we can better get assistance to you. This survey can be accessed at emd.gov/disaster survey. Let me repeat that again. emd.gov/disaster survey. The current flooding is still ongoing, and we urge everyone to be very careful. Do not go out and drive. Be very sensitive to the circumstances around you, and make sure that you're aware of what's going on with your neighbors. If you have issues, reach out to those local emergency directors. That makes a very big difference. We know that today, West Virginia is deploying every resource available to be helpful, because we want to make sure that West Virginians are protected during these difficult times. I can tell you, as someone who had been very involved in activities during the 2016 flood, West Virginians come together during difficult times, and I know that they will here. We're going to certainly continue to monitor this situation and help out everyone as needed, and we're going to make sure we step up as a team until all of the counties in our state are fully recovered. With that, I'm going to turn it over to General Seward, who has a few brief remarks.
Thank you, Governor. Good evening. Friday night, we alerted our forces at the National Guard in West Virginia of the threat of flooding. We've seen increased amounts of rain, and actually above the forecast, over 5 inches in some areas. We've been working closely with the governor since this emergency started, and I just wanted to take a few minutes and thank our local first responders. It's been absolutely incredible response from around the state, with swiftwater rescue teams and fire departments working around the clock. Specifically, I wanted to thank the folks from Clendenin and Glasgow that helped our swiftwater rescue team deploy down to McDowell in the middle of the night last night, McDowell County, and perform rescue operations down there. We'll continue working with the governor and Secretary Cunningham from Homeland Security. We're here until this is done and everyone is home safe. And I just finished by saying we're praying for everyone affected, and we look forward to continuing this mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General, and thank you, Secretary Cunningham, for all the work. You wouldn't believe that how many people have stepped up and have worked through the night to help their fellow West Virginians. It makes me proud to be a West Virginian. I know that this is when you see the strongest attributes of a West Virginian. So a lot of good is being done to help citizens in need. And I think as we get more information, we're going to pass that along to you. Expect that tomorrow you'll likely get several additional updates. In the meantime, I want to say thank you to all West Virginians who are helping out your fellow man, and continue to work with your localities to make sure you direct private resources to help out. If you want to provide assistance, that's the best way to do it, reaching out to your local Red Cross or to your local emergency management directed program. Thank you, West Virginia, for everything you do, and we'll be checking back in with you soon.